Hi everybody, it's March 19th, 2026. The thing I learned about signs is that the most accurate signs that I have noticed are the ones that are veiled in a situation or a kind of a conceptual area where the judgment relies upon your it relies upon your confidence in interpretation. So if you see signs all the time, you know to take them with a grain of salt, because most of the times you don't know what they're talking about, and then most of the times they don't come true. But the signs that do come true usually are, like I said, they're in a situation where you're going to have to make that judgment if it was a sign or is this a coincidence. And so that being the nature of how things play out in this world signifies that signs aren't exactly a privilege, they aren't exactly necessary, they aren't exactly reliable. And so this means that, to me, this means that you have to live your life with intention. You have to be the sign. You have to determine as best as you can what's going to happen in your future. How are you going to work towards where you're going in the future? And this brings you to the concept that you may be trying to get somewhere. You may be trying to get somewhere precisely, like a precise level of success or a precise area in your life. And you know that most of the times it doesn't turn out exactly how you envision it. So no matter whether you get signs or not, no matter whether you do your best or not, where you are ending up is not determined on whether you are fortunate to foresee it. Where you end up is determined by how you experience your life and how you make sense of the unfolding of it. And if you can't make sense of it, that's okay too. It's all about patience and gaining insight in situations where you wouldn't normally be able to, developing that muscle to develop insight into your life. So this gets me to thinking about flush, like the flush parts of our life. When you are trying to work something out, when you are working hard at something, when you are fighting for something, and then the situation ends completely flush, like it's all even, it's all great, it's settled perfectly. Those situations, we tend to hold those dear to our heart, because we can look back and say, that's when I knew that life had meaning. That's when I knew that I had a purpose, because the way that things worked out, it worked out perfectly. Like, and I wasn't even trying to make it work out perfectly. Things just landed completely aligned. Things went smoothly. There was no question. It was free open road for the first time in a very long time in my life. And so when we get to those flush parts of our life, we look back and say, that's significant. That's something that means something. But as you get older, you notice how rare it is. And you notice that even though that situation landed flush, it may not have any relative influence on your life now, further along the timeline of your life down the years. And so that puts things in perspective. Usually in the area of now, in the as far as you can see in the now, that's your realm of influence. That's the realm of it has over the influence of your current life. And the further we get past the now, which becomes the new now, more immediate things have an impact. So this distance of time and space in a spiritual sense lets you know that emotions are relative. Events are your history. Events can lessen their touch or their ability to touch you depending on the time and space that you have traveled. So it puts it into perspective. It's almost like the concept of this too shall pass. No matter the good or the bad, your life goes on, and situations that are related to the past may have may give fond memories, but they do not influence you now. What influences you now are the discipline you have with your intent and the faith that you have in God. And the second thing I could say about things landing flush in your life, or the concept of flush in your life, is the rarity it is that where you connect with a person and your connection is flush, where you may disagree on things, you may have different opinions of things, you may be two totally different people, but your relationship is flush. And you realize how rare this is. Like, you can converse on opposite ends of the argument, but you can have a respect and a love for this person, and you're close for the time being. And so when relationships are flush like this takes this type of situation transcends what I was talking about, the area of now in the distance of space of flush events. Relationships travel with you as long as you are together or are connected in some form. And so when a relationship is flush, it's easy to love the person. It's easy to cherish them and cherish your time together and revere this beautiful spirit. But when they get out of flush, this determines the depth of your patience. This determines your character, your forgiveness. You're willing to suffer in order to save this person's spot in your life. And I'm not saying you should always do this, but people are a big part of this story on earth, and our relation to people are a big part of the story. Yes, I said before, you shouldn't care too much about what others think about you, or you shouldn't place an inordinate amount of value upon what people say about you or what they think about you. But the relationships that you have with people in this life, if you work for them, if you sacrifice for them, if you suffer for them, if you go beyond for them, the payout of wisdom and strength and resilience that you gain is unmatched when you're just dealing with lifeless events, in the terms of not being an actual person. So when you're dealing with people, this is where your true character is forged. And the last thing I can say about flush or flushness is that the feeling of flushness inside, when you are even, where you are things snap together inside, you are clear, there's not jargon, and there's not excessive noise inside, where it's clear and things work out. You have an agreement with your mental voice. You can hear your mental voice. You can understand your emotions. When things are flush inside, I would say don't rely too much on that, because one situation, one phrase, one slip up of indulging in paranoia can disrupt that flushness you have inside. And when it's disrupted, you're going to want to give in to that anxiety and that flux that it puts you in. But if you can withstand the noise inside, the pain inside, the suffering, the confusion, withstand and keep your mental personhood stoic and understanding and patience, that's where you gain mastery. That's where you become the captain of your ship. So things don't always have to be perfect inside for you, for the controller of your being to excel and to progress even when you are in pain. So I hope this helps. Thanks.